Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Recovery Unplugged Live. I am John Spalding. We have Amy McCorkle here tonight. How are you?
I'm good, except Anna broke one of my awards.
Wait a minute. You're gonna start off the show by throwing her under the bus?
No, I know she didn't mean
You haven't
to.
even introduced her yet.
Well,
And
no,
you're
she
like, and you're
she's
like, "Hi everyone. This lady broke one of my awards, and so I'm going to interview her live on today's show."
no, she didn't mean to. She's been traveling a lot, and she picked them up for me, and I couldn't. So, I'm grateful for that.
It was
Uh,
so we're 100% that this was not a jealousy thing on her.
well, so it's Christmas, and so tomorrow's Christmas Eve.
It
Um,
is.
I'll be having Christmas with Missy and Pam, and my family will be doing their Christmas with all 14 of them in one house. And I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I was like,
A little too
So
much.
I'll be doing Christmas with mom and dad in the morning and Christmas with Missy and Pam in the afternoon and evening. It's easier. It's just easier. I don't do large crowds very well.
Gotcha. Yeah, we go to my aunt's
But
house on my
I
dad.
got my memoir finished.
Okay.
Yeah, I finished my memoir. That is going to be packaged with the film Letters to Daniel when she takes it to market. And upcoming on January 3rd, I'm shooting a sizzle version of this show
Ooh.
for a traditional sit down talk show to be shot as well. But this is a different format,
Mm-hmm.
so it would be remaining. I look at this as like a podcast web series, however you want, like Recovery Unplugged Live
Yep.
versus Recovery Unplugged. So but I'm really excited because we won Best Director and Outstanding Editing at the U.S. Hollywood International Golden Film Awards. Um, uh, that I was fortunate enough that tonight's guest made the trip out there after we were both going, but I my anxiety got so bad that it aggravated my bipolar symptoms, and my psychiatrist and my therapist said you would be best not to travel now because you'd probably get triggered.
When was the festival?
December, the award ceremony was December 13th.
Okay. Gotcha.
So it was last Friday,
So,
like the week before.
yeah. And she went and accepted on your behalf.
Yeah, basically.
But some
She
people there
said,
thought she was you.
yes. That's okay. I know it was me. And, honest good people.
Yep.
She messaged me as the award ceremony was going on. I said, please tell me because I will die. So having to wait that long to find out.
Oh man.
But she texted me, thankfully. But I know she's like me. She likes to have her phone turned off during like black tie gala stuff because it's just, or any award ceremony, because it's just rude to interrupt someone's moment. Like if someone goes up there, it's really their moment,
Yeah,
and you don't want to interrupt that. And it's really irritating when people do.
for sure. All right. Well,
But
let's watch the Letters to Daniel trailer, and then we'll come back and get right into the interview.
okay.
All right.
Are we muted?
Dear Daniel Craig, life did not always look like this. This marked a moment of triumph, a way of crushing an abysmal past and daring those with a stereotypical view of those with mental illness to challenge me on any front. To many, this was just a documentary. For me and Missy, this was our life.
It's like my skin is coming off. And my thoughts, they're racing so fast. I can't keep up.
I'm suffering too, you know. You're not the only one.
It's like my mind is coming apart and I can't get it to come together.
I think it's more than just that. Amy's been having a really hard time lately. She goes on these crying jags. She explodes without warning. She's so angry and so paranoid these days. She's not the happy Amy that I remember from Kentucky.
She thinks you're manic depressive. I, however, do not. I think this is something you've been obsessing on. I believe that it's all in your head.
She's come here. We're going to get you some help. I'll be okay. You do have a diagnosis. You have rapid cycling manic depression.
Dear Daniel Craig, bipolar disorder and those that saw it as contagious sought to pull me under, snap me in half, break me down. Even those well-intentioned do-gooders who see therapy and medication as bad and wrong, who see mentally ill individuals as hapless and hopeless, they're wrong. I found hope in your work. A comrade in Missy, my rock when no one else understood. You two are my twin lights when this disease threatened to take me down. And treatment was what got me through. Thank you, Daniel, for your talent and your work. Thank you for everything. Sincerely, Amy McCorkle.
Okay. Tonight we have with us Anna Jobrail, author, editor, and award-winning screenwriter. She has worked for Blackworm Press, Three Bitches Press, and is stepping into the film world. Why don't we dive right in and get to it? What exactly started you down the path of screenwriting and filmmaking?
Well, I was writing. As a teenager, I started writing, and I was writing in college. And then I asked a college professor to look at some of my work. And he sat there and he looked at me and he says, "Now, if I tell you my opinion, you promise not to stop writing."
Oh.
So it was right then and there. I was like, oh. So I stopped writing. I stopped writing until I went back to school in 92, 93, and I took a women's studies class. And we had to write a poem like Anne Sexton would write. And I love Anne Sexton from her transformations. So I wrote a poem about Princess Diana. And she loved it. And then I just started writing again. So then years down the road, I was editing for Amy. And I came upon, I asked Amy, I said, I think I should go ahead and start doing some of mine into screenplays as well. And she said, yeah, you should. So I did. And so she recommended that I enter AOF, and I did. And I received a award, the Lewis Mitchelson Award for Up and Coming. And that was a really hard screenplay for me because I didn't actually have the software required to do it. And I tried to do all the margins and everything manually, and it didn't really work that well. But I still got the award because it was a very interesting script for them. And I've gone, this year was my third year there, and I've won every year that I've been there at least one award. So.
Okay. I first met you and you were assigned to edit Gemini's War. What led you to be an editor and ultimately an author?
Well, I was already an author, but I I don't remember how I met Dave, but Dave, I asked him about editing because I was editing for everybody in my writers group. Everybody would turn to me to give the criticism first, and then everybody else would build off of that, or try to calm down a little bit what I said. But they all valued my opinion, so I went ahead and I asked Dave, and he started giving me Amy's manuscripts to edit, and some of them became award winners.
What project of yours do you foresee translating to film first?
The TV pilot I have called The Enforcers. It's based on my book, Swimming with the Sharks. I did a lot of changing around in it, and I like it better than the book version.
Okay. Of your scripts, which holds a special place in your heart, and why?
I think it would be Good Old Joe, because when you experience domestic violence, it's something that affects your life for the rest of your life. No matter what else happens in your life, you're going to remember that. And you're scarred emotionally for the rest of your life for it. Sometimes you heal, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just keep continuing the cycle of finding abusive men. I was fortunate that I broke that cycle with that one. And I counsel or advise women that I see in the same situation that you can't change the man, you can only change you. And unless that man wants to change, it doesn't matter what else is going on. And he will always have a reason why he did it. And the blame goes to you. And it's not you. Women have to realize it's not them. It's the man who hasn't learned how to control himself and how to correctly direct his anger, or to deal with his anger, I should say. So that is close to me. It's not based on my spouse. It's just it's examining emotions and that go in it, and the same controlling atmosphere in that. And it does have a quirky kind of humor in it at times. So you're kind of going from, oh my God, did he really do that, to laughing. And that's kind of a hard combination to do, but I think it came off well in that because it won awards.
Yep. Okay. We have both attended AOF MegaFest, as you had mentioned. How has this film festival and screenwriting competition changed your life?
Well, through the MegaFest, I met Dell and Teresa, the directors of the film festival. And Dell, as he does with many other people, especially their first time there, took me under his wing and really mentored me and helped me a lot. And he had my script looked at by Jeffrey Calhoun, who gave me a lot of tips on how to improve the script. And I submitted it again the next year, and it won for Best Dramatic Short Scene. And I would recommend for anybody who, especially if it's their first time, to go to AOF. It's now called MegaFest. It's a big festival, but Dell and Teresa are very personable, and they make it their mission to meet everybody that comes to the festival and help them out as much as they can.
Yeah. They say 1 in 5 people will experience a mental illness in their lifetime. Grief and the accompanying feelings and struggles that come with that would fall under this umbrella. How has grief impacted you, and by what means do you use to cope with it?
Well, I have had my brush with mental illness. In high school, I had some major depression. Uh, I had a horrible family life, and I was on our senior trip for graduation, and I caught my boyfriend cheating on me. So,
Oh,
and so I tried to commit suicide. So that was my first attempt. And then I had another time in my life that it was really bad, and I tried again. And I went through a lot of therapy. I um, started doing grounding and other things to help, and meditation to help me cope better. And just those two things alone really helped me a lot to learn how to deal and cope with stuff, because you just can learn to shut the world out and let your mind relax and go. I've seen other people who suffer from mental illness. My ex-husband was bipolar, but he was also a paranoid schizophrenic. So it was really hard to deal with, and I couldn't deal with it. But I have nothing against him. I just couldn't deal with his anger being directed at me.
okay. At the 2018 MegaFest, we were at the writers gathering, and when I looked at you, you said you just look so sad, and I burst into tears from an anxiety attack. What were you thinking in that moment?
Um, I'm an empath. I don't know how much you know about an empath, but I can read and sense when people are feeling bad. Even if they have a smile on their face, I can tell that something's wrong. So I'll reach out and I'll ask. And if they care to share with me, I'm there to be there for them, to support them, whatever. But if they shut me down, then I let them go their way and leave them alone. I'm not going to force someone to come out. And right now, this year, I've had so many things happen in my life. My mother passed away. I lost my house. I lost my job. So that's the trifecta of the worst things that can happen in your life. And I somehow managed to survive it. And I'm now onto a new chapter, living in another state. And I'm excited with all the possibilities that can happen.
At the same time as this, Rebecca was internalizing the same thing that I was releasing. What do you wish you had known at the time, and would you have done anything differently? And that's not meant as an attack question. That's just like out of curiosity. What would you?
Well, I knew that Rebecca was also autistic. So, and I know that autistic people don't like to be touched.
Yeah, you're right.
So I didn't do like I would do with you, where I might touch your arm, or, to reassure you or hug you, whatever. When Rebecca was doing it, I kind of just stepped back a little bit so that she could feel safer and more comfortable. So, and if she wanted to talk, I was there.
That was a good read. She doesn't like to, unlike me, who wants to be hugged. She doesn't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
Besides me and Rebecca, and you kind of touched on this, how else has your life been touched by mental illness, and how has it changed you for the better?
Well, when you've gone through it, it gives you a better insight of what other people are dealing with, because we can all say we're sympathetic and that, but unless you've really walked in that shoe, it's totally different. So it's hard to I've learned how to cope. I've learned how to help people who are having panic attacks. Don't keep walking in a circle and going faster because you're only making it worse. Walk a different path and slow yourself purposely down, and you'll notice that your panic attack is starting to recede a little bit. So I've learned breathing techniques. You stick a phone book on your chest and you concentrate on watching it go slowly up and slowly down, and it just moves your thoughts from concentrating on what's going on.
Right. You're not obsessing. You're not like in that obsessive mindset. Okay. What would you tell other artists struggling with loss and mental illness?
Well, you can either let it control you or you can control it. And you cannot maybe control it 100%, but you can control your reaction to when you have a situation going on. And sometimes you just can't. I mean, it's just too full blown. But if you can catch it at the beginning and early enough, you can, there's so many techniques that you can learn to do.
Yeah,
even
you can.
diet affects it. So
Yeah.
So learning your nutrition and when to take your meds and to keep an open dialogue going with your doctor. This med is not working. I am feeling worse, or I don't feel my episodes getting any lower, or it's increasing. Just the doctor needs to know if it's not working, because there's so many medications out there and they all have different effects. So that's the important thing, because you might even have a misdiagnosis. I have a friend in high school who was diagnosed with so many different diseases, and come to find out she's actually schizophrenic. But they had her on all these different medications that just made her worse and worse. And she went through this for decades before they finally got her on the right meds.
Okay, now here's the part you were worried about. Let's have some fun.
Okay.
If your life were a movie, what would the title be?
Oh, I can't say it on radio.
Say it. Look, say it.
I don't really. Same shit, different day. No.
Okay. Okay. If you could cast anyone to play you in that movie, who would it be?
I'm told I look like Linda Ronstadt, but I don't. But I would like Selma Hayek, because she's also Mexican Lebanese like me.
So what is your dream where writing and film are concerned? Like, what's the ultimate goal? What's your dream?
My goal is to keep improving and to keep getting involved more and more in the film process. I'm hoping to be directing my first, even if it's just a short film, the coming year. That's my goal. And then I hope to start competing against you.
Everybody competes against me.
But you know what? We're beyond the rival thing. I think we're.
No. Look. It's like I look at it this way: the friends I have in the film community, right, and like at AOF and Indie Gathering, it's like if I can't win, I want to see one of my friends win, because that, especially one where I said yes. get involved. Whenever I encourage someone to get involved, they get involved and they win. That makes me feel good because it's like, oh, I knew they had talent. It's justified, you know? It's like I get to take a piece of that with me. So it's like winning, like if your friends win, it's like you're winning too. So where do we go? What is your favorite movie of all time?
I can't say just one movie. My favorite animated would be Lady and the Tramp, because that's one of the first movies I remember going to see. And then my first kids movie would be The Wizard of Oz. And that's close to my heart. That's something I watch every year. My son finally bought me the Blu-ray of it, so I can watch it whenever I want to now instead of just once a year. And then my favorite all-time, other than that, would be Gone with the Wind and The Notebook.
Some good choices.
Well, thank you.
And finally, what words of advice do you have for up-and-coming writers trying to break into the business of publishing or screenwriting?
My first bit of advice, more than anything else, is if you ask someone to give you their opinion, remember, it is their opinion.
Right.
And second, if you ask several people for their opinion, make sure there are people who are actually in the industry who know what's good and what's bad, because writers read a lot, so they know what's good and what isn't good, what works, what doesn't work. If you take it to your friends and they're not writers and they're probably not even readers, because half of people I know, like, I'm not going to touch another book again for the rest of my life now that school's over, then you're not going to get the truth. They're going to tell you what they think you want to know. So that's important. Then get yourself a good editor, because I won't mention names, but I know of one particular writer who actually was involving a character that she had already killed off earlier in the book. So it's important that you have a good editor, because they catch things like that.
Yeah. Okay, well, that is all the questions I have. John, do you have any follow-up questions you want to do?
Why, thank you.
It was cool. I just like hearing everybody's story. Who's in the background over there at your place?
Oh, it's my son's family.
Okay, so home for the holidays, or everyone getting together for, or is that?
No. I moved here.
Okay, I was wondering. I'm like, that sounds like a child.
There's 3 of them out there.
Well, they're being fairly
John,
good.
John, I want to talk to you after the show.
Okay. That sounds good to me.
Okay, so you have no more questions?
I don't. Do you,
No,
Amy? I did like to hear that Amy's going to have some competition here coming up pretty soon. That's kind of neat. I like that. So good luck on that. I hope that all goes well. It's fun, like filming your first short or your first film.
She's
nerve-wracking at the same time.
We've been competing already in screenplays.
Mm-hmm.
Some she's won, some I've won. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep, and I like the advice that you gave at the end. That's really good stuff to keep in mind. So
thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Enjoyed it. Nice meeting both of you.
Wait a minute. What was that face?
Because I know Amy already.
We get it. All right, everyone. This wraps up Recovery Unplugged Live. We will be back in 2 weeks with, do we know yet?
Joseph R. Davis.
With Joseph R. Davis. Tell us, give us a snippet about Joseph on the way out.
He and Brian Garson are some filmmakers I met at AOF. Surprise, surprise. And I have kept in touch with him, and they usually come every year. They do a lot of their films are horror in nature. And they're exceptionally talented. He also created a character of Sunny the Sad Doll, and it's like a doll that represents his depression. And he's done an animated film, and he's done several paintings on different, like he's done it Sunny the Sad Doll as Indiana Jones. He's had some art shows. He's a very talented individual.
Cool stuff. Well, we'll see everybody in 2 weeks.
Bye, everybody.
Oh,
Bye.
That should be our new outro music. Bye, everybody. All right, everyone. We will see you soon.